Where we are in terms of any type of corona relief bill, the Senate has adjourned. They will come back if there is a deal. The negotiations are now going on between Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. Although, and apparently, Mark Meadows has been sort of sent out of DC for the week. Because Meadows was certainly inhibiting the negotiations, is from what I've read in terms of the reporting. There are a lot of people who are suffering, and a new report out that shows exactly why there is such little urgency amongst the Republicans to do this. Now, Donald Trump is concerned from an election standpoint, but Washington Post has a piece that shows that the recession is over for the rich, but the working class is far from recovered. Jobs are fully back for the highest wage earners, but fewer than half the jobs lost this spring have returned for those making less than $20 an hour. This is according to a new labor data analysis by an economics professor at Brown University, John Friedman. Some economists are starting to call this a K-shaped recovery because of the diverging prospects for the rich and the poor. We're also seeing this disparity between white and minority households. We're also seeing this disparity between big and small businesses. And that is a function of the way that the CARES Act was structured and a function of the fact that we have now cut off any help or extra help to folks who lost their jobs. And this is, part of the reason why there's such little urgency on the part of Republicans. And I don't know that Mitch McConnell, I don't know if people remember this. Well, we'll talk more about this with Perrine. But the other major sticking point in these negotiations is not only that the Democrats want more money for states and cities, they also want money for the post office. But Donald Trump doesn't want to give money for the post office because it will mean that more people have access to voting. That's not speculation at this point. Here is the president's chief economic advisor, Larry Kudlow. What time of the day did he do this interview? Do we know? Is this a morning thing?
Yeah, this was yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. All right. So he's probably, sharper than he would be if it was, after 12 noon. But here is Kudlow explaining why the talks fell apart. Because the Democrats, you're not going to believe the stuff that Democrats are asking for. Listen to this.
Whether or not, in terms of your first question, I don't think I really want to say much on that. President Trump has acted forcefully because we couldn't reach a deal with the Democrats. They're asking too much money, $3.5 trillion. We've already spent over $3 trillion. So much of the Democratic asks are really liberal left wish lists. We don't want to have voting rights and aid to aliens and so forth. That's not our game. And the president can't accept that kind of deal. Larry, so we'll wait and see on the negotiations. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is working on that, but so far it's a...
I love the fact that nobody even bats an eye. Wait a second. Larry, did you just say that voting rights are just not your game? Don't you think you should maybe just sort of at least give lip service to the whole voting rights thing?
That's how generous interviewers are with Kudlow, is just stumbling over the words. So you might as well, we know what he means. He means, mail-in voting.
Yeah, Larry, we know what you're talking about. You just don't want you just don't want anybody in the blue states to be able to vote, right? That's basically what it is, right, Larry? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
But the fact is that is a huge part of what's going on here. And we'll talk more about this with Perrine. But what's happening with the Postal Service is just absolutely nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. We're getting reports out of Portland that they are scooping up extra mailboxes, which, I mean, maybe that's just, we just, we had regular, culling of the mailboxes that we're doing. They are decommissioning sorting machines. The Postal Service is telling Pennsylvania that we can't deliver all the ballots. We can't possibly do this. A federal judge has basically told the Trump administration, you need to give me proof of what you're asserting. And this is just posting this now. Multiple sources within the Postal Service told Motherboard they have personally witnessed the machines, which cost millions of dollars, being destroyed or thrown in the dumpster. These are sorting machines. They are removing more than 500 letter sorting machines nationwide, about 15% of its inventory. This is clearly a reduction in capacity, not a reallocation of machinery, as the USPS has publicly stated. Supposedly, the plan predates Louis DeJoy, but there's no doubt in my mind that these plans have been sitting around. How would you dismantle the post office? Well, we would start with this. Let's put that into effect. There's absolutely no reason to do what they're doing. There's just simply absolutely no reason during this right now to be doing what they're doing other than to diminish the capacity of the post office. And look, if you have 100 million people, if you have half the people voting by mail, know that is still, and they all do it on the same day, that is still less than the capacity on any given day of the U.S. Postal Service in terms of what they do in terms of delivering the mail. They can do this. We spoke to Mark Dimenstein last week, or I guess on Monday. Was that Monday?
That was
4 days
Monday.
ago.
Yeah.
Where he basically just said, yeah, no, it's easy. That's what we do. If you don't think that there's a surge at Christmas? You don't think there's more mail at Christmas than there would be with absentee ballots? That's nuts.